Chapter 7, Getting Useful Reviews. What do we mean by this process? It's the process of bringing a wide variety of stakeholder reviewers together in the documentation process. Bringing these stakeholders together allows the document author to produce a document that is truly for the user. بشكل عام هي عبارة عن تجميع أو جلب جميع مجموعة من الستيك هولدرز بحيث يبدوا رأيهم بالدوكيومنت و they give us good feedback about a document. During this process, the document goes, during the documentation process, the process goes through a procedure of planning, designing, revisioning, and revising and editing, all in a realistic schedule. But in order to produce a quality document, honest input from all the stakeholders or the people who are part of the review team will allow the final product to achieve maximum quality أو maximum utility. بشكل عام عملية الدوكيومنتيشن بروسيس بتقوم أو بتمر بمجموعة من الفيز اللي هم planning, designing, revising, editing and so on. كل هاي العمليات is not enough unless we have honest input أو good feedback من الريفيورز أو من البيبل اللي تشاركوا بعملية الريفيوينج، لأنه هاي الكومنتس أو الريفيوز هي اللي بتساعد على إنه نعمل كرييت لجود كواليتي برودكت أو good quality. To review documentation, you send it out to get the reactions of other peoples. All peoples we mean by them the stakeholders or the members who are involved in the review process. In these chapters, we will learn some of the guidelines that will help us to review document بحيث إنه نعمل review للdocument, so we'll make sure that this document provide information related to the task orientation of your document. That means we want to check if the document matches task-oriented guidelines. Is our document is a task-oriented and it's like focusing on the user needs. The second thing when we do a review that we have to focus on it, that we want to make sure the technical accuracy and conformance with the company policy. من الأشياء الثانية اللي بنركز عليها لما نعمل ريفيو بنتأكد هل التكنيكاليتي هل التوبكس accurate that we describe it in accurate way in our document وهل الدوكيومنت conforms with the company policy. فهون عندنا شغلتين tax oriented organization و accuracy and company policy. هذول الاشياء اللي بركز عليهم mainly when we do a reviewing process. cover letter وبالعربي بنسميه غالبا كتاب تغطية. cover letter or form for the reviewers will cover the following. لما بنودي الدوكيومنت for reviewing غالبا we attach to this document what we call الcover letter. الcover letter راح تركز على ايش some of the factors اللي بتساعد على انه تعمل عملية الريفيوينج process ايش successful. This cover letter will give information about the following things. First one, background about the project and the document. تركز على انه تعطينا brief description عن ايش البروجكت ايش البرودكت اللي بنحاول نعمل documentation له وايش طبيعة الدوكيومنت that we wanna create. Second thing, kind of review information the writer needs from the reviews. فهل الفوكس for example ايش الissues that I wanna focus on when I do review. هل الفوكس for example على الاكيورسي للانفورميشن، هل الفوكس على الكومباني بوليسي، هل الفوكس على الستراكشر للدوكيومنت، هل الفوكس for example على التاسك اورينتيشن ديزاين. ف we have to decide ايش type of information that we have to review. After we're done, where to send the markup copy, return address. شو الادرس اللي رايحين نعمل return للدوكيومنت عليه after the reviewing. Clear instruction of making the document. وإن هون لما بنحكي clear instructions for making the document بنحط مجموعة من المارك notation أو المارك instructions اللي بتساعد على إنه نعمل عملية editing. For example بنحط if we want to delete a paragraph what kind of instruction or what kind of markup instruction لازم نوضع. If we wanna for example make indentation, we make grammar like you know changes. ايش الماركب instruction اللي لازم نستخدمهم؟ Number 5, our last one, encourage partnership with the writer such as any concerns or question contact writer. حتى نعمل encouragement for example للبارتنرشيب بين الرايتر والريفيور. ممكن نحط الايميل if you have any question try to contact this. هاي الاشياء اللي that we need to cover or need to focus on when we have الcover letter. Guidelines or review guidelines. These are the set of guidelines that we want to follow if we want to get the most out of the review cycle. إذا بدنا نستفيد أو نحصل more benefit أو the most benefit من الريفيو process لازم نتبع مجموعة من الجايدلاينز. الجايدلاينز the first guideline, review the documentation objective from the documentation plan. Chapter 6 حكينا انه during the documentation plan we define two types of plan اللي هم البروجكت بلان والديزاين بلان. وخلال هاي الدوكيومنتيشن بلان بنحدد ايش for example الكونتنت specification that we wanna follow. فالكونتنت specification هم هذول الفاكتورز that we wanna use them when we try to do a review. For example, review the documentation plan to find what aspects of document you would like to be reviewed. For instance, the document provides task orientation example of the processed image. Ask the reviewer if the example reflects the real world. من الاكزامبلز فور اكزامبل اذا طلعنا على التاسك اورينتد دوكيومنت اللي بنعمل له ريفيو ولقينا انه في عندنا some kind of image. ف one of the questions اللي ممكن نسالهم للريفيو انه يحاول يعمل ريفيو للدوكيومنت بحيث انه يعرف هل really this image reflect the real software or real tasks. Consider the documentation objective in the planning stage. If applicable, make sure it meets the company policy. إضافة for example للcontent specification اللي ممكن نركز عليهم كمان we have to make sure هل الدوكيومنت تبعنا match or meet the company policies and reflect well on the company. Document types can be tutorial, procedure, and so on. Features of the document and text page design of the document, column, all these are created for specific purpose. فكل هاي أشياء ممكن نركز عليها when we do documentation أو documentation review. Guideline number 2, write the review plan. A well-articulated review plan will make the process a goal-driven one and provide background material to help reviewers respond more productively. حتى تقدر تحصل good responses من الريفيورز وحتى تكون عملية الريفيوينج بروسيس productive لازم تعمل what we call a review plan. اوكي ولازم تحرص على انه الريفيو بلان تبعتك هي عباره عن goal oriented. There is a goal, الobjectives والgoals واضحه بالريفيو بلان. Following are some of the standards you may follow when writing your plan. First, review the document objectives. البلان لازم يعتمد على يعني حتى نقدر نحدد ايش الاشياء اللي بنعملهم reviewing ونحطهم بالبلان لازم نعتمد على الدوكيومنت objectives. Second, determine a type of review needed. هنا في عندنا different type of reviews لازم نحدد which type of review is best for our document. Write covering letter with the questions. وحكينا بالسلايد السابقة إنه we have to attach to our document the cover letter. Establish a review schedule. حدد إيش time for review, needed time for example أو time to deliver reviews. Prepare feedback material so you can integrate comments on your document. Guideline number 3, determine the type of review. The kind of reviews you design will depend on basically the kind of person who have stake in the documentation. Now عملية الريفيوز أو reviewing process بتعتمد basically على الأشخاص اللي involved بعملية الدوكيومنتيشن أو عملية الreviewing in general. So for example they might have lack of knowledge or they might be from different jobs or different domains. Reviews offer challenges and problems because not all the persons who you need to do reviewing may be at your job. وهذا اللي حكيناه. One of the challenges اللي بنواجههم انه people اللي بيعملوا reviewing process ممكن ما يكونوا from the domain of the subject، ما بيكونوا familiar بالsubject او بالproduct that you are trying to review, or may lack familiarity with the project itself, the software itself. هنا في عندنا different type of reviews مثل ما حكينا. the first type of reviews اللي هو user reviews by the actual users of the documents. Second thing, management reviews. وبالmanagement reviews by managers and supervisor associated with the documentation of the project. Technical reviews by programmers and developers of the software. Client reviews. Only client تختلف عن الuser reviews by people or department paying for the software and documentation. And the last thing, subject matter experts reviews by experts in the professional field represented in the software, people who are familiar or know about the subject matter, know about the software or the product that we are trying to create the reviews for. Guideline number 7, write a covering letter with questions for the reviewers. To get relevant information out of your reviewers, you should provide them with a cover sheet. This cover sheet specifies what exactly you want them to pay attention to. فلازم نحرص على انه نعطيهم الكفر لتر، وone goal او one objective للكفر لتر اللي هو بنحاول نوصل لهم ايش exactly الاشياء اللي لازم يهتموا فيها او يركزوا عليها while they are doing a review process. Tell the reviewers exactly what you want them to do. Indicate the document objectives and benefits to the reviewers from increased quality, increased communication among the company members. لازم تحرص على انه تحكي لهم ايش الاوبجكتيف والبنفيتس اللي رايحين يحصلوها الريفيو من عمليه الريفيو بروسيس، على انه هاي الريفيو راح تساعد على انه تعمل انكريز للكواليتي، انكريز للكوميونيكيشن بين الكومباني نمبرز and so on. Ask for specific advice or comment. بالكفر لتر ممكن تطلب منهم انه يعطوك for example specific comment, specific advice about specific design, about specific piece of the document and so on. In order to do this, check for example in table 7.4. table 7.4 بالتكست بوك تبعنا بيعطي مجموعة من الكويشن اللي بتحكي عن example على advices او الكومنت that you might ask. Provide a necessary background about the user, the project, the product, and the subject matter of the program. Tell them how to mark or comment. On a figure 7.1 بالكتاب بيعطينا example على markup instructions أو how we can mark أو how we can put comments on our documents. Give dates and places to return. حدد التاريخ والبليس أو time to return a document. And thank you your reviewers. دائما حاول إنه at the end of the cover letter tell them thank you. Try to tell them that you appreciate their work and so on. Number 5, establish reviews schedule. Means you have to give your reviewers enough time to fit the reading in their schedule of other projects and prepare their responses. You have to know, reviewers, they might be are working in other projects or they are reviewing for other documents. But when you give them time or when you give them the document, you have to give them enough time so they can give you a good job. Make sure you give your reviewers enough time, and careful reviews in general take approximately 1 hour per 15 to 20 pages. Circulation strategies or methods of circulation. What do we mean by this? We mean the way we circulate copies of our document to the reviewers, the way we distribute copies of our document to the reviewers. In this, we have to decide which strategy is best for our document. We have two types. First, sequential circulation, والsecond one اللي هي simultaneous circulation. During sequential circulation, it involves making only one copy of the document and then pass it to the next person to review it. Means one copy to many multiple reviewers. The main advantage is minimal cost. Disadvantage may be that it will start arguments and problems, hard to control, and might take extra time. باختصار هي we prepare one copy وبنحمل على انه نوزع هاي الكوبي على الفيرست ريفيور after he finishes او بعد ما يكمل من عمليه الريفيوينج بروسيس ننقلها لريفيو نمبر 2 and review number 3 and so on. هون في عندنا المين ادفانتج انه we have minimal cost, we have to print just one copy. The disadvantage انه that might start arguments and problem لانه كل واحد ممكن ايش يعلق بطريقه مختلفه على the same topic وهذا بيسجل يسوي عندنا arguments. Hard to control انه in order to like you know to manage all the reviews على the same topic and will take extra time لانه اذا كان عندي document one reviewers takes 1 hours and the 20 reviewers will take 20 hours to finish the reviewing process. Second thing اللي هي simultaneous circulation. Simultaneous circulation involves making a copy for all of the reviewers and receiving everyone reviews back. هنا في عندنا multiple copies to multiple reviewers. كل واحد من الريفيورز باخذ الخاصة فيه. The main disadvantage, it's expensive to create all the documents, but you can tailor diverse reviewers. main disadvantage انه بتكلفنا كثير حتى نقدر نعمل create لكل الدوكيومنت ونوزعهم على number of reviewers, but at the same time بتساعدنا على انه to get reviews from diverse او different reviewers. بينما these days we can distribute it using emails or we can publish it, make it shared so we can get reviews. The advantage is fast, easy to control, easy when online because we can distribute it. Each person gets a fresh copy so they will not be distracted by the others' reviews. مثل ما ذكرنا سابقا we have two circulation strategies, sequential strategy و simultaneous strategy. هذا التابل بيمثل عبارة عن comparison table between the advantage و disadvantage لهدول two strategies. First, sequential. Advantage, low cost. لأنه إحنا we produce just one copy and we give it to the reviewers. فهنا ال cost is low. Encourage teams. لأنه people, there are different people or different members work on the same document. فهذا بشجع على إنه they are working on team. Disadvantage. Early reviewers affect others. لما بيجي الريفيور الثاني او الريفيور نمبر 3 or whatever بحاول يعمل ريفيو على الدوكيومنت, when they see the other people reviews they might be affected by their opinions. This might cause problem. ممكن sometimes يصير عندنا conflict بال ideas or conflict بال comments او there are people like you know it's not easy for example to check which comment is right or for example to decide which comment is right. فهون عشان هيك we call it also hard to control. Number 2 اللي هي simultaneous fast because you give it to the one reviewer and he give it back after they are done. They don't need to send it to another reviewer. Good for distributed reviewers وهذا means it's easy when online also. هذول they are two related advantages. لما يكون عندنا reviewers distributed you can send it to them, you don't have to even if it takes time. بنفس الوقت في عندي reviewers they might reply faster. وأنا إذا كانت online it's easy, we can send it by email or send a link or so. Easy to control easy to control because we get like responses back, and we can know, we can check each reviewer response alone. Now it's expensive because we have to distribute many copies. That's when it's printed, but when it's online we can send just one email for all. Takes more of your time. Here we said it's fast because we get the reviews back, okay, earlier, but it takes more time لأنه I need to read each reviews or comments separately. فهذا بياخذ مننا وقت. Sometimes you might face or find redundant comments لأنه the reviewers, they don't know what their team members or their friends put comments, فممكن they can put the same comment and causes version mix up where you have like a problem with the versions of the document. Prepare feedback for reviewers. ايش الهدف من الفيدباك؟ The most important thing that you want to tell your reviewers, or the reviewers need to know what they do matters. Write a note telling them that you read and paid attention to the comment they made. They like to know that they count as partners in the documentation process. الهدف من الفيدباك in general, when you send a feedback or prepare feedback للreviewer, so you can tell them or you can make them feel that they are partners, that they don't work for you, they help you to improve a document or improve a software. Reviewers need to know that you have read their comments and paid attention to them. Let each person know the effect of his or her work on your project. You might send them a letter for each person or each reviewer to tell them what exactly you benefited from their comments and how did their comments help in improving the document. Use memos or thank you letter for giving the feedback. Discussions. Here we have three main terms: reviewing, testing, and editing. First, we want to discuss how reviewing differs from editing. What are the main differences between reviewing and testing? Testing tends to concentrate on user and issues of accuracy and statistics. For example, when we use testing, we try to know how many times, for example, a user failed to do something, how long it took them to finish a specific task or something. Here we focus on the accuracy and statistics. Reviews develop information about conformance of the product to management schedule and company policy. بينما لما بنعمل reviews غالبا الاوتبوت بيكون عباره عن comments if the document conforms to the product, to the company policy. Does it meet the schedule? Does it fit, does it follow task oriented regulations or standards, and so on. Reviews do not produce quantitative data about the document or statistics. زي ما حكينا بالنسبة للريفيوز we produce comments, feedback about the company policy, or conformance with the company policy, conformance with the task-oriented standards or regulations, and so on. بينما بالtesting we produce statistics and quantitative numbers related to how many numbers, the user performed the task, how long it took them to finish the task, did they fail or not, and how many times did they fail, and so on. The second thing, we want to focus on reviewing differs from editing. What's the difference between reviewing and editing? Editors bring their training in editing. As an editor, they are trained to be editor. When they try to test the document or edit the document, they use their training, their knowledge. But here, reviewers such as managers, subject matter experts, and programmers, they bring professional opinions. They try to use their expertise as a professional. From their expertise working with other projects, with other systems, they try to do the reviewing process. The purpose of reviews. Reviews can serve number of functions. The first one اللي هي communication function. With the communication function, it helps communicate with people associated with your project. In general, we try to let teams know what are you doing or what are we doing and to get their contribution. الهدف منها هون انه نحاول نوصل للتيم what we are trying to do وحاول انه ايش نحصل their contribution and their help. The second function, management function, help you manage your project. It helps you get involved in everyone's schedule and keep track of your own progress. المين idea from here انه احنا بنحاول دائما we try to watch somebody other people's schedule. بنحاول نعمل track للprogress their work so we can know who's doing what and what they are doing if they finish their job or not. The third function اللي هي quality assurance function. This function help you maintain the quality of your product. As an example, if we have a user interface expert, or for example, a usability expert, and he is reviewing our document, from their comment, we can, for example, get benefit or get comments that will help us to maintain the quality, to maintain the user face for our document, and to improve our document. Review through the documentation process. The earlier the stage of the process review, the more explanation we get or we will have to provide about the background of the project. Do not wait until the alpha draft to get review. Usually, you can count on getting reviews at 4 key stages. For example, during the planning and design stage, user analysis stage, development and writing stage, and the draft stage. But the best reviews you can get when you get earlier during the first steps or first phases of the development process. Reviewers as partners. We said earlier, in order to get the benefit out of your reviewers, make them feel that they are partners. In order to do that, we have to follow the following steps. Tell them the benefits of participation. Make them feel or make them know that the comments that they give you will help improve a document and help improve the quality of the product. Make reviewers understand that not only you benefit from them reading your document, but also they benefit. Do not abuse the privilege. Also, make them know that by reading the document, they also get useful information. They will be part of a team and so on. Do not overuse a good reviewer. If you have a good reviewer or experienced reviewer, you didn't have to give him all the work. You have to be fair with them so they will not be stressed with the work. Show them revisions. If you get feedback or if you manage to get feedback from reviewers, let them know how you used it, how did you integrate it in your document. Hold review meeting or walkthroughs. Have reviews meet each other. Following reviewers as partners. Keep contact over the time. Keep a file of information about each reviewer and the work they have done, which help you avoid overusing them. Second thing, thank them in print. Send them letter. When you have the opportunity, list the name of those who reviewed for you. Walkthrough. Walkthrough is a 1-hour meeting in which you present the document from end to end and focus on the key issues of usability. بما معناه هي عبارة عن 1 hour session نعمل فيها review للدوكيومنت بحيث ناخذ الدوكيومنت from start to the end or from the beginning to the end ونحاول نركز على some issues related to the usability. This is where you present the document from end to end and focus on key usability issues or issues of usability. The technical reviews will focus on accuracy and conformance with the company policy. The user review will contribute in helping you meet the task needs of employees. Examples of kind of information that you might get from the actual user or only come from the actual user. Does the document reflect the workplace task and goals? Does the document support your information processing? Does any task has been omitted? Does the tone of the document suit your reading preference? What order you think you will use the document? هاي نوع من الانفورميشن أو الكويستشن only the actual user can answer them. How to set up a user walkthroughs. In order to do any walkthrough, we have to follow the following like 6 guidelines or steps. First, decide on the issues you want to examine. Basically, we have to identify the questionable areas, the areas where user might have problems or might have confusion. Second, choose attendees. The real user or the real representation for the user will be the actual user. So you have to test with or review with the actual user. Number 3, prepare a meeting agenda. Here we say prepare the questions for the users to answer during the walkthrough. Number 4, make copies and provide files for all attendees. Each have their own copy. Number 5, run through the walkthrough. Begin by announcing the agenda. And number 6, do a follow-up review. Send copies with the suggested changes to user after the meeting. Lead the walkthrough writers.